Thanks for staying tuned to Enterprise Television. This is Homo Politicus. Kingsley Bass is my name. Well, let's turn attention now to the political tension in Rivers State. March 18 was the date when President Bola Tinubu announced to the nation the state of emergency in Rivers State, appointing retired Vice Admiral Ibok-Ete Ibas as the sole administrator, suspending Governor Fubara, his deputy, alongside the lawmakers in the state. Oh well, since then, there's been some form of tension. Not like there wasn't before now, but yes, there's been even further tension since then. Well, fast forward to the 7th day, Monday precisely, Monday 7th April 2025. A protest was held by by a particular group in Rivers State and across several cities in the country. And there's been, tension regarding that. Well, let's turn, as mentioned, attention to the political climate in Rivers State, which continues to swell, following a strongly worded statement by the Niger Delta Congress, they're called NDC, condemning Vice Admiral Ibok-Ete Ibas retired over what the Congress calls threats of possible violence against peaceful demonstrators. The Congress alleges a deliberate campaign of intimidation, of violence and unlawful repression, seeking to silence dissenters, protesting what they described as an unconstitutional takeover of the state. The group draws parallels to the infamous SARS protest and warns that continued suppression of civil liberties may provoke widespread resistance. As calls for accountability and justice grow louder, we now turn attention to the unfolding situation in Rivers State and its implications for democratic rights in Nigeria. I'm joined at this time by the president of the Niger Delta Congress, who joins me virtually at this time to have this very vital conversation, as well as the Director of Research and Strategy of the Niger Delta Congress. I'm talking about, well, the President is Nubari Sata. He joins me virtually today from Rivers State. Nubari, many thanks for joining me. Nubari Sata, if you can hear me, many thanks for joining me today. All right. As we continue the conversation, we'll try to re-establish connections with Nubari, but I'm also joined by Director of Research and Strategy, Ibok-Ete Ibas. Many thanks for joining me, Ibok-Ete Ibas.
Thank you so much for having me. Great to be here, as usual.
All right. I'm not sure what's happened with Nubari Sata's connection, but we'll see if we can reconnect with him as we proceed with the conversation. The statement has been released by the Congress, where you serve as the Director of Research and Strategy. You want to very quickly lay a foundation to why this statement has been released and why this is fundamental for Nigerians to pay attention to this.
So if you would recall, we had, like you said in your introduction, we are together with the Take It Back movement, started a protest wherein we were drawing the attention of Rivers people and everyone who is a lover of democracy to the injustice that was foisted on us as a people in Rivers State. Upon that, our protest, you had interviewed me and we explained a lot of things that happened. A lot of people were emboldened, across the state, women and youth organization. They were emboldened to come out and continue from where we had stopped. And it was one protest upon the other, and since the day we started. As a matter of fact, there was a time when the entire women came in certain villages, in certain communities, and they took off their tops, insisting that what must be done and must be done now. And that Fubara must be brought back now. Because of the sequence of these protests, the spokesperson to the sole administrator, what is not known to law, what is not known to constitutionality, what is not known to democracy that had been foisted on us. He was granted a press conference, or he had granted a press conference where he said that, you know, they have got a lot of powers, enormous powers, to be able to come strongly against protesters. Upon this, the NDC thought that this was another aberration taken too far. This was another terrible miasma, that is palpable, in the air in Rivers State. And I dare say, even in Nigeria, that needed to be corrected. Hence, our releasing the press statement today to say, no, enough is enough. And you do not have the powers to do whatever it is that you have said that you would do. It's on the pages of paper. You can go to check it out on Punch, and you would see, all of what he had said regarding enormous powers that the Gazette gives to him. And we responded, and our response is everywhere, and you can check it out. The Niger Delta Congress response regarding this.
Let me turn to the president of Niger Delta Congress now, Nubari Sata. Thanks for reconnecting. Let's get your point of view as a president of the Congress to what the director of research and strategy, Ibok-Ete Ibas, has just mentioned. The threats. If you, of course, that's how to perceive that. The release from the sole administrator, the spokesperson of the sole administrator, saying, warning protesters. How has the Niger Delta Congress taken this, and what's your demands to the sole administrator?
Well, thank you very much for having me. The statement came as a surprise, actually, to us, because it was not something that was expected to come from people who are meant to understand the sensitive nature of the issues that are affecting Rivers State. But unfortunately, you have people who, because of their proximity to power, they feel that they can speak whatever it is that comes to their mind. And as an organization, as a movement of the peoples of Niger Delta, will find this threat to be something that is a cause for alarm, because on our own end, we have been on the receiving end of this violence in different forms from the institutions of state. I don't know if you're familiar, but on the 26th of March, I was kidnapped by the men of the Nigerian police force. And the police force came out to deny that I was kidnapped, claiming that I was invited for questioning. And on the 7th of April, when the Niger Delta Congress, in collaboration with Take It Back movement, started what you now see as protest against this emergency rule and sole administratorship in Rivers State, were attacked, where live ammunition were used to disperse peaceful protesters. Peaceful protesters were beaten by armed policemen. Tear gas was used on armed protesters. And the excuse that was given by the police was that the protesters were violent people, that they came and they were snatching phones and they were looting, and they actually even attacked the police force. That was the excuse that was given, but we are grateful and we are happy that the media was there and they captured everything live. As a matter of fact, some members of the media community were attacked by the Nigerian police. And it was when the Commissioner of Police had to go and apologize to them that it became clear to the world to see that the actions of the institutions of state who are meant to protect the people, as far as Rivers State is concerned, have not been playing that role. We believe that they have allowed themselves to be used by different pecuniary interests, which is not good. So the threats against the threat of violence by the sole administrator, PI, is something that stands from them, because we do not see any reason why there should be attempts to intimidate Rivers people, to make Rivers people to cover the whims and caprices of these people, where, for what it is worth, the entire system of government now in Rivers State is unconstitutional and is alien to people of Rivers State. So we stand against it, and I want to make it clear that as an organization, we are going to continue to speak up against the injustice that is happening in Rivers State. We are going to continue to mobilize our people to kick against it, to demonstrate against it, and to protest against it. We are not going to be cowed by the Kalashnikovs or the security agents or the different colors of camouflage that they put on.
Nubari, I'll stick with you just for a second. And not lots of Nigerians, I'm sure, have gotten an account of what transpired when you were in police custody. Well, again, the account from the police different from what you have said. You say you were kidnapped, and they say, oh, you were taken into custody for questioning. You want to very quickly take a moment to detail that and, put forward the facts from your point of view.
Well, I will do my best, but bearing in mind that there are legal actions that are in process, I will try my possible best to be careful. But the police, two actions that the Nigerian police force have taken in the past couple of weeks as regards the events in Rivers State that have shown clearly that they cannot be trusted as far as whatever comes from what is concerned. 26th of March, I was not invited. The Nigerian police cannot provide any official invitation that is sent to me as president of the Niger Delta Congress to appear before the Nigerian police. As an organization, we have had that good relationship with the police in various protests, including the NBAS governance protests. So there's no reason for the police to come out lying that they sent an invite. There was no invite. I was kidnapped, my phone was tracked, my phone was bugged, and I was lured out by them having access to somebody on my contact, and I used that person on my contact to lure me out. And I was kidnapped at Iwope, at Kilimanjaro, at Iwope Road in Port Harcourt. That was where I was kidnapped. I taken to the Nigerian Octopus Command at my 1 or my 3. And I was there held incommunicado. The Nigerian police force refused to allow me to have contact with my family members, the leadership of the Niger Delta Congress. And I say for a fact that the only reason why I was released was when the news started to gain traction. And the commander who was in charge of my kidnapping sent that message to the Commissioner of Police. And the Commissioner of Police quickly ordered that I should be let go because he panicked, seeing that there was a lot of pressure and a protest was already on the heels of starting in Port Harcourt. So the Nigerian police have shown that they are not a neutral party in the actions or in
how long? Pardon me. How long were you in the custody of the police for?
I left the police custody. I was released from the SCID at about 8:30 on Wednesday, 27th of March. So if I was kidnapped around 2 p.m. on Tuesday, 26th of March, you can see that I was held incommunicado, without food, without water, without access to my people for over 24 hours.
All right, let me turn back now to Ibok-Ete, Director of Research and Strategy, Niger Delta Congress. Ibok-Ete, what's the way forward? Right, we've seen we've seen protests in this country. We've seen the police use force against protesters, peaceful protesters who just want a better Nigeria. What's the way forward? What more can be done?
It's clear. It's clear. The way forward is clear and it's simple. Restore democracy back in Rivers State. It's as clear as you can imagine. If yesterday the people of Rivers State actually came out in their numbers and voted for a particular person to be their governor, to be the leader, to hold the levers of power in the person of Simnalai Fubara, and all of a sudden, whimsically, swomoto, the president decides to suspend the constitution. Yes, that's exactly what happened. He decides to suspend it and brings in what is not known to constitution, what is not known to constitutionality. Then we are insisting that the way forward, what can create a change, what can change the course of activities that already have been set in motion, must be that you must return to full democracy. You must call back the governor and say, we are sorry, we apologize for whatever it is that we have done, to have brought what is not known to the constitution, to have brought what had the capacity to cause a conflagration. As a matter of fact, in Rivers State, to cause a conflagration, I'm indeed apologizing, and we are restoring the governor back into his position. Once that is done, that for us will be the way forward, and we can begin to have other kinds of conversations that will cause development, that will cause progress amongst our people in Rivers State, and I dare say also in Nigeria.
As we close, right, just sticking to this a little bit more and getting another point of view, I turn to Nubari Sata, President of the Niger Delta Congress, pardon me, on this same matter. So if this does not happen, say the president decides to see the entire 6 months he declared through, what happens then? What will be the response of the Niger Delta Congress, indeed the Rivers State people, regarding this? This looks to be enmeshed, a lot more in politics. It looks to be, critically soiled in politics, the soul of Rivers State. So if the president decides, this 6 months, the sole administrator will have to complete this, 6 months, what will happen?
The last notice that we put out about the protest was preceded by a General Congress of the NDC. A General Congress of the NDC has been fixed for Monday next week to reassess the situation of Rivers State. And yesterday, made from the leadership of the NDC in Rivers State that at the General Congress on Monday that they are going to push in for protests, not just in Rivers State, but poised to support at the General Congress on Monday. So if the president feels that he is not going to listen to the Rivers people and is going to continue to have this illegal, undemocratic government in place in Rivers State for 6 months, the president should be rest assured that the Niger Delta Congress will continue to protest, continue to demonstrate, and continue to speak up against it for the duration, for the entirety of the duration, that the illegal and undemocratic government is allowed to fester in Rivers State. We are committed to challenging them every step of the way.
Just before we go, back to the crux of the matter, your press release addressing the sole administrator. He remains in charge of governance in Rivers State. I'd like to get your final thoughts, Nubari Sata, president of the Niger Delta Congress, to the sole administrator, as well as the police administration, the police command in Rivers State.
As far as the Niger Delta is concerned, we do not recognize the sole administrator. We recognize the elected, democratically elected government of Rivers State as led by His Excellency Fubara and the leadership of the Rivers State House of Assembly. As regards the Nigerian police force, we want to advise them to be careful because they are meant to protect citizens and not incite citizens. Because from the actions of the police force, as far as this issue in Rivers State is concerned, the police force has been an inciting and instigating force and not a calming force. And if they continue in this direction, there's a big chance that the peace we are trying to sustain in Rivers State we might not be capable of sustaining that peace. And the propensity that the ripple effect of this lack of peace in Rivers State will spill over to other Niger Delta states is already high, because you can see the tension in Bayelsa, the tension in Delta, and the tension in the Edo State. So I'd like to call on the Nigerian police to be professional in their conduct. As far as not just the Nigerian police force, because that's now the Nigerian military is now involved in governance. So we are also calling on them to be careful on how they approach peaceful demonstrators in Rivers.
Well, I'm tempted to just very quickly get your final thoughts on the Delta State situation and the defection of the governor and former governor, Okowa, since you are the president of the Niger Delta Congress. Yes, very quickly, please.
Okay. Well, it's unfortunate. We as an organization, we come to see that a lot of the political elites, political leaders of the Niger Delta do not really have the interest of Niger Delta people at heart. And they are more about protecting their own personal selfish interest than in advancing the interest of our people. We have not seen any reason for the defection by the governor, apart from the possible fear, which can also be related to the actions that have been taken by the federal government in Rivers State. So you have a situation whereby governors in the region are now kowtowing to the whims and caprices of the federal government because they are afraid of being removed, just like the Rivers State governor was removed. But we would like to make something very, very, very clear, that any government in the Niger Delta region that doesn't put the interest of the Niger Delta people in front is a government that is anti the people of the Niger Delta. And those people must be aware that the Niger Delta people organize, remobilize, and stand against them.
Thank you very much, Nubari Sata, President of the Niger Delta Congress. Final thoughts from the Director of Research and Strategy, Niger Delta Congress, Ibok-Ete.
So we are a peace-loving people, right? What we represent is what can only foster development, what can foster justice. There is no way you can have peace without justice. If we want to indeed have peace, if peace is what the president is interested in, if peace is what the entirety of the National Assembly, what they're interested in, they must quickly fix this, this aberration. They must quickly fix this miasma. They must quickly fix this challenge that we are having by restoring democracy back in Rivers State. Regarding the issue with Delta State and the defections, I must say that I'm not shocked. I'm not one to be overly excited over what has just happened, because we understand Nigerian politicians that, let me use the popular word on the street, for them, anywhere below face might be their front, meaning that it is where their bread is better buttered. That's where they are going to pursue. If any Nigerian thought that these current politicians would have your interest at heart, then you have got another thing coming. You would be too politically naive to think that there's one of these people right now. I've always maintained that these are not people who are interested in making Nigeria great. Yeah, so for me, I'm not overly excited. I'm not shocked. I'm not want to be moved by what Delta State governor has done. A lot of them will do it because what we currently have is the apathy of the people that has permitted this kind of evil demonstrated by our ruling class. The apathy of the people. As long as we remain quiet, the law says everything remains at a state of inertia unless and until an external pressure is applied on it. As long as the people remain quiet, don't speak up, don't speak against this evil, you would have these politicians relocating, moving, and jumping, according to Yedu Anagu, doing the principle of jumpology, moving because they are only interested in where their nest is better feathered. Nigerians must wake up, my brother, as I conclude, Nigerians must wake up and say enough is enough. Until we do that, we are not able to have uhuru politically.
Director of Research and Strategy, Niger Delta Congress, Ibok-Ete, thank you so much, as well as the President of Niger Delta Congress, Nubari Sata. Appreciate your time today on Homo Politicus. Well, that's the conversation today. Stop by the comment section. Let me know what you make of the situation in Rivers State and indeed Delta as well, as other Niger Delta states in Nigeria. Well, until next time on Homo Politicus, make sure you're safe, and we'll continue to monitor this development and bring them your way. Kingsley Ibas is my name. God continue to bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Bye for now.